Hello, welcome back to the first case of Great Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. It's GAA2? Damn, I've been writing it as TGAA2. You know what? It's in the G section on Steam. Anyway, welcome back to this case where our girl Susato is dressed as a man, and every time she's on screen, I'm going to moan loudly. I would appreciate if you all moan with me. That's kind of weird, actually. You don't have to do that. Okay. I'll do it. I'll do it for us. I'll do it for us. I adjusted the audio. Let me know if I'm clipping at all, because I noticed there was some audio clipping where it sounds like I'm distorting when my mic's peaking. So hopefully I'm just underneath that right now. Anyway, hello. Last time we had a really good first half of a court case. Just everything you could fucking want from an Ace Attorney case, I think. Yeah. Real strong start. Very funny. Kept going. Aeughhhhh's growing his hair back. He's getting stronger. So we can put him in the fucking ground when he flies too close to the sun. That being us. And we got cute not Maya here while we're playing as other cute not Maya. And right, we have to find Raiten Menimemo, that bastard fuck.
Man, I didn't even think about that. He's RM.
I didn't either till you just said that.
Like, it just occurred to me that when you said Raiten Menimemo, I was like, oh, he's RM.
No, Tommy, you're only seeing half the picture.
Uh-huh.
You're only seeing half the picture. So, you have two hands, right?
Uh-huh. And
you hold a pen in each. What would the left-hand pen have on it?
Penumbra.
Fuck. Pen, left, and right. Okay, yeah, you're right. You got that correct. You did get that right. I was going for the left pen would have GR on it. Guys, I think the AC in my house is dying. Fuck.
Well, it's be quiet in your room then.
Oh my fucking god! I think my AC is dying. Oh boy. This is gonna be a stinky stream.
Do that thing in Summer Wars and fill the room with ice bricks.
Yeah. I already got the nosebleeds, so I'm ready to go. What were we talking about?
I don't know. Actually, I didn't understand the GR thing, I must admit.
George R.R. Martin.
Okay, got it.
That's it. That's all I was... That's it. Nice, simple... Little layup of a joke as I go for the layup and I throw it into the basket all the way on the other side of the court. No problem.
Like, that is what went through my head, but I wasn't sure if I quite understood it.
Anyway, where's this bastard? I'm so sorry, Susato. I should have told you about the toxin. Right, the magic poison that we found out about because Soseki-san is so up on his fucking high horse, he threw a paper at us to be like, look how cool I am in the newspaper. And then on the back, it had details about a poison that was stolen from Susato's father's lab that he did not know got stolen until this newspaper was thrown at him. That's evil, Soseki. You're 33?
Damn.
You're 30?
Damn.
How old was she? 25? Yeah. Ray. You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. That's why you decided to shoulder the burden alone. No, that's not it at all. I was scared of my failure coming to light, that's all. So I hope to retrieve the substance from the Englishwoman before anyone found out. Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Susato? That you had no doubt in your mind about my innocence. That you'd stand by me to the last. I remember. And yet I didn't deserve your trust in me. I hid important details from you, Susato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Come on. Come on, Sussy, hit me. I deserve it. No, in fact, throw me to the floor. No, that's too good for me as well.
Ooh,
Drag me through the city streets.
Ooh, glumps you.
I'm no better, you know. Oh. So can I spank you instead? Even though in my heart I knew that you'd pulled the knife blade from Miss Brett's back, there was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you. Susato! I'm sorry. After I stood here and promised you that I'd stand by you and always be by your side. Be on your side. By your side. Will you marry me and my husband? I betrayed your faith in me too. As such, I failed you as a lawyer that I'm not even one. I'm not even a lawyer. She's basically a lawyer. She'd be a lawyer if the government's let her. Oh, no. No. I think this situation has taught both of you a valuable lesson. Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task. Yes, Father. That fact has certainly struck home. Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, Ray. Yes? Can you find it in your heart to forgive me? Oh, Susato. You know you'll always be a gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now. Oh, Ray. We already got her smile back. It's been protected. Case closed. Show the judge. I was so scared, you know, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. More crazy shit happening. The defendant's just telling us what happened from their angle. Wow. God, like, we never even had a chance to, like, hear that in Adventures, did we? Like, obviously in the first case, we were playing as the defendant, so that really wasn't an issue. Right. But second case, no time. Or, well, let's not worry about the second chapter of Adventures. Third chapter case. It is just the second case. Because it has a courtroom. Did you know what I meant when I said second case? What did you think of from Adventures? Did you think of the boat or did you think of McGilded?
I thought of the boat.
You thought of the boat? Damn. Alright. Then I will make that clarification. We run in McGilded. He's not going to tell us anything. So Seki does just tell us what happens, actually. But he's a lunatic, so it's worthless. And then Gina's a tsundere, so it took a while to break through. Though she was just kind of passed out for most of it. Anyway, enough of the discussing and nitpicking until 5 minutes from now. The English woman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well, now, whatever do you mean? And then a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back. This is pretty strange. Like, did Ray turn away for half a second? Because it looks like an altercation had occurred if she stole this pen from Ron May. Or whatever his fucking name is. Wrighton.
So I'm going with... It's like, here's where my mind's at. I'm going with she was like stabbed through the hut.
Yeah.
It's just made out of like bamboo or whatever.
Yeah. Well, there's the hole that the photo was taken through.
That the photo was taken through. So I'm going with he just stabbed her.
He just fucking stabbed her. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is strange how like it went unnoticed.
Right.
The poison coats instantly destroys your nerve endings, making it so you can stab someone without them knowing.
Well, I'm thinking like she stood up out of her chair and got stabbed instantly after this.
Right, but like she would have screamed. Ray hasn't mentioned anything. Ray hasn't mentioned anything about hearing this woman scream. She says, sitting in the hut, a moment later, she got to her feet and fell the fuck over. That's all she says. You think the scream in an altercation? I know he heard a scream.
Right,
but Ray's not telling me she heard a scream.
Okay.
Ray, before collapsing on the floor in front of me with a knife in her back. Did you scream after that, Ray? It all happened right before my eyes. And you were the only people in the hut at the time. That's right. Just Miss Brett and myself. There was no one else. So I just don't understand how she could have possibly been stabbed like that. A great mystery indeed. I still can't believe it happened. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up. It will be all right. However it happened, and whatever really went on by the sea that day, I promise you that I'm gonna prove everything you said you saw is true. Spoken like a true Mikotoba, or maybe a Naruhodo in this case. When are you having grandchildren? Or children, so I can have grandkids, you know what I meant. Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time. We must make sure we have our facts in order. Yes! I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings. The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now. The trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory synthesized blend of alkaloids. The police won't have any way of testing for it. Oh, I see. We had Hosonaga drink it. Yes. Without this chemical reagent, it's impossible to detect the toxin. Chemical reagent? I sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver to police headquarters. I think perhaps you should have some as well, though, just in case. Chemical reagent has been entered into the court record. A special indicator solution for a new poison under development by my father's team. It's been created in strict secrecy and exists only in my father's laboratory, and is now in this courtroom, meaning we're gonna have to use it on something. It's gonna be awesome. We weren't handed the knife yet to look at, though, even though it was brought up. Cute bottle, I like it. Classy.
Raymond.
It's a chess piece. He's got a hat on.
Oh man, you said chess piece, which it does look like a chess piece. I think you said chest piece. I'm like, what?
How do you equip that?
Like a breastplate? Like, what are you talking about?
It's the nipples. I don't know. The label appears to be written in a foreign language that I don't know. It's German. Your knowledge of English is going to be of little help here, I'm afraid. Couldn't you have just written medicine on it in Japanese? Then we'd all be able to read it. German is the international language of medicine, my dear. Really? But yes,
is that true?
I can certainly see the merit in labeling the bottle in Japanese. Maybe in the early 1900s. Though I'm not sure medicine would be entirely appropriate. Alright, I can Wazda.
Wow.
I like that bottle. What's the matter, Susato? You're suddenly very quiet. It's this newspaper article. Exclusive! Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. I'm wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret. It was all the English woman's doing! What? It was when the professor and Soseki-san were being interviewed at the laboratory. That so-called English lady swanned in and without any compunction said to Professor Mikotoba, "Oh, Professor, surely your guest would love to hear about your work on that substance there." It put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. But Soseki-san's curiosity had been piqued, so I had little choice but to give him a cursory introduction. So then, Soseki-san knew about the poison. Yes, and it's highly likely that the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin too. This Menimemo-san. By the way, did that reporter join you all when you went to the beach? Oh, no, I don't remember the reporter being there. Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone would have wanted him there. Oh? A known criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside. Soseki-san pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office. Yet he obviously didn't go back. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took this very candid photograph. And then presumably he posted it anonymously to the internet. Police! Huh! Yes, that must be what happened. Oi, counsel! We just heard that the new witness is now ready to testify. Trial's about to resume. Please proceed in the courtroom at once. Thank you, bailiff. Hey, watch it. Don't you whack me. Time to steal ourselves once again, then. Defense attorney, Ryutaro Naruhodo. Yes! Rei has put her faith in me now and told me everything. So I can't let her down. I have to prove that what she's telling the court is true. I have to prove what really happened that day.
That reminds me, I meant to send you something earlier. Just a quick little funny thing. Regarding, it's like, relevant to the case. Can you just look at this really quick?
The YouTube video that says, this beach kills you if you step on it. One step kills you is the thumbnail of the giant red arrow. Oh, okay. Oh, fuck. Okay, it's,
many layers to explain it.
No, it's not too hard. Someone, what was it, an AI edit?
Yeah.
Like someone did the AI voice font of Alex Jones and Ben Shapiro talking about the beach that makes you old. Right, in reference to
not Alex Jones, but Joe Rogan.
Right. Sorry,
they're
dude.
Very different.
They're so, yet so similar in my mind.
So similar. Yeah,
yet
no, I
so
understand.
similar in my mind. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
But...
Joe Rogan. Yeah, no, Joe Rogan. Thank you. Yeah, Joe. It's the Joe Rogan podcast with Ben Shapiro, and it's just AI voices, and they scripted it so that it's them talking about the beach that makes you old in reference to the it was an M. Night Shyamalan movie, right? About the beach that makes you old. And they're just talking about it, and Joe's like, it makes you old. And Ben's like, no, it fucking doesn't. And then the stinger at the end, he's like, I'm gonna go to the beach. And he comes back, and he's old. He's just like, I got old. And like, that's just it. Just stupid internet stuff. So it's, you know, the beach kills you if you step on it. One step kills you. And then someone redrew it where it's just Joe Rogan dead in front of his microphone and Ben Shapiro being like, you have to know that's not possible. There's no way the beach kills you in one step.
Anyway, that's what happened to Jazile. Just the beach kills
The
you.
beach kills you. I was hoping Aeughhhhh's hair had, like, grown more.
I hereby call this court to order, as we reconvene to continue the trial of Ray Membami. Prosecutor Aeughhhhh, have you summoned the new witness? Before I address that question, Your Excellency, I have some very important news to share. Oh?
Come on, talk about your hair. Oh my god. What news? And why does he look so happy about it?
During the recess, with the collaboration of Professor Mikotoba's laboratory at Yumi University, the police re-examined the knife that was used to end Miss Jazile Brett's life. Excellent! I admire your rapid handling of the matter. Oh, too kind, Your Excellency. Too kind. I was merely carrying out your instructions, of course.
I had the reagent delivered to police headquarters by rickshaw, so it would be there in good time.
But judging by that man's swagger, I fear we might need to brace ourselves for the inevitable.
Oh dear. And counsel, what were the results? Yeah, there was poison on it.
This dagger, which was so cruelly used to end the life of the victim,
Damn
has
it.
no trace of poison anywhere along its blade. That's nutty. Okay.
What? What? Are you sure about that?
I would stake the reputation of the police on it.
Armed with the reagent, the test is extremely simple. They couldn't have made a mistake.
Fair enough.
Small knife from the scene of the crime that was found in the victim's back. No trace of poison was found on the blade.
Her body was vacuum sealed and just sucked it all out.
Mm-hmm.
In short, the accused's feeble excuse earlier has been utterly destroyed.
Ah! Ow! Damn it, I just got back in here. Fuck.
Now, the prosecution is ready to call the new witness. The newspaper reporter who managed to capture a photograph of the crucial moment. Good. Good.
Look at that knife.
That's a knife.
It's a knife. Ah, yes, this must be the victim's blood. Oh dear. Blood is never a pretty sight, is it? I'm having to fight the urge to run it under a hot tap and get it clean. You've always been fastidious about cleanliness, haven't you? I think this is something else, Father.
Interesting.
Alright.
But we do suspect she was poisoned. Very well. Officer, bring in the witness.
I'm going
Okay.
with it was laced in her
Drink, yeah.
her drink.
Yeah.
We don't know too much about the poison yet,
also-
right? We just know
also-
it kills you, but it might have like anesthetic properties, which is why she was able to get stabbed without
Sure.
knowing it.
Alright, so let's say she was poisoned and stabbed, and all Ray did was take out the knife in an attempt to save her because she was worried it was poisoned or whatever.
Hmm.
By Danganronpa rules, Monokuma would argue that Ray killed her, I think. Because she did die of blood loss.
Right. That's
That's not relevant, but
That's true.
in the
No, this is a good point. Was the
would say
person
Ray
who put
killed
the yeah, like stabbing someone is more severe than pulling the knife out of someone. However,
but if she did nothing, she would have died from being poisoned. You know what I mean?
Right, or just, you know, she would have died from a hemorrhaging eventually, probably. Even if the knife wasn't pulled out. If you're still fucking stabbed in the back and bleeding. Her lung would have filled with blood and she would have drowned. I don't know. Anyway, no trace of poison on the knife. But if that's really the case, how could the toxin have entered the victim's body? Right, we're still just assuming that the toxin got inside her. It was not established that she actually had any poison inside of her, right?
Our big piece of evidence is the eyes. It's like they contracted rather than
That's right. That's right. That's right. The eyeballs.
That's not normal.
Yes.
She was poisoned.
Right. Likely poisoned from that. Yeah.
Yeah. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
Ryan Menimemo of the Show You News. I'm what people like to call a journo.
He looks like a fucking Lupin the Third character.
I was just about to say Lupin. What's a journo, father? Do you know? It's simply a contraction of journalist. I'm there where the news breaks, putting pen to paper to catch those scoops so they're in print the next morning.
Hey, look! It's the logo on the pen.
They don't call me the hero of the Herald for nothing. The nice guy of news. He's got a theme. I'll turn it up a bit. I'm trying to keep the game volume a little lower, so our voices, so it's not just like everything's at the same volume. His arms are huge, actually. Look at those biceps. I'm admiring a bit. Oh, so, it was you who took this photograph, was it? Well, what have we here? I'm sorry? Oh, brace yourselves, people! Menimemo senses a scoop in the offing. Female student up to foul play defended by curiously handsome young lawyer in Supreme Court. How dare he stand where he stood? How dare you have the same fucking gimmick as the greatest witness in all of Ace Attorney? Brushel.
It's true.
How fucking dare you? Also, that's gonna be the poison on his hand. No, it's gonna be the ink from the pen that he took out. Yeah. Case closed.
Yeah. Put in the poison.
Female student up to foul play, defended by curiously handsome young lawyer in Supreme Court. The readers will lap this up. We'll set it above the fold at 70. What is he saying? We'll set it above the fold at 72 5-leg format for the morning edition.
Yeah, I guess it's just like settings on the printing
Well,
press.
watch him flip it. Nice, nice.
No wonder it got cracked.
He's killing it. Huh? Oh my god. Alright then. Let's start with your name. I don't like that movie that much. Oh, it's Ryutaro Naruhodo. Next, what made you want to become a lawyer? I wanted to reform our country's legal system, I suppose. Ryutaro has suddenly become very ambitious, I see. I just borrowed Kazuma-sama's dream for a while.
Either way, my name is Taketsuchi Aeughhhhh. That's Taketsuchi Aeughhhhh. the so-called dark horse of the Supreme Court. My objections struck fear into every defense lawyer's heart.
Shut up. No, the readers won't buy that.
What? Witness.
Yes?
What this court demands to know is whether or not you were responsible for the taking of this picture. It was delivered anonymously to the Imperial Police Bureau only yesterday.
Yeah, I wouldn't be a journo if I didn't click quick when presented with a scoop like that, would I? Sometimes stories call out to me. Sometimes I have to chase them down. But either way, you've got to be fast. Fast legs to run with, and a fast hand to write with. It's no good if you don't note it down, I always say. That's what I call my Menimemoism. Menimemoism? Yes, I remember your face. We met that day when you were interviewing myself and Soseki-san. Yes, right, that was me. Menimemo, again. But you were supposed to be going back to the Shoyu news offices after our meeting. But the scoop is, I didn't. Because that English woman's words had piqued my journalistic interest. Miss Brett's words. A criminal ought to do as he pleases. Just because she happens to be a British citizen? Is a horse dog! This country's judiciary is rotten to the core. The Supreme Court's rulings aren't worth the paper they're written on. The police are just imperial pawns.
Stay your tongue, young man! There are complex political issues at play!
Oh yeah, well... I find them. No! He's going to say it! Oh, is this guy? 38!
What the hell's going on here?
Journalist for the Shoyu News, who's currently following Soseki-san everywhere, reporting on his every move. As a result, he's an eyewitness to the incident. They got these backwards. Oh, that leaves Soseki being 33, I guess. Oh well.
I suppose in Soseki's case, he really was 33.
That's true.
Like, he's real. He's the only one who's like age you can't argue.
Well, anyway, I quickly jotted down those words she said in my memo pad. Memo pad. Are you ready? I'll read it out. It's all here. Right. Here goes. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. A serious criminal going on some junket? The people need to know about this. That's why I decided to sneak after them. To get the woman's story so I could hammer her in the press.
Do you mean to say that you did indeed witness it firsthand? The grim scene portrayed in this photograph. Nice.
Oh, yes. I saw it with my very own journo eyes. From start to finish, through the viewfinder of my trusty camera.
Thank you, Menimemo-san. You will now give a formal testimony before the court. You will state exactly what it is that you witnessed of the events surrounding Miss Brett's death.
So I fucking stabbed her. The camera never lies. The beach hut was made of shoddy old reed screens, so there were plenty of gaps I could see inside through. The Englishwoman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her. Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife, throwing the Englishwoman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back. My smoldering journo spirit burst into flames. Quick as a flash, I whipped out my camera ready to click. I pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and poked the lens through for the perfect shot. Read screens, you say? Right. You can see them clearly enough in that great shot I snapped. The hot walls were just screens made of coarsely woven reeds.
Yes. It allows the breeze to pass through and bring some relief from the summer heat.
And it was a breeze for me to poke my camera through and see the whole thing hotting up. Hotting up. Ignoring for the time being the appalling invasion of privacy involved, did you witness everything that happened from the moment the defendant entered the hut? Oh yes, I saw it. I saw the whole thing from start to finish. And you say that you took the photograph through a gap in one of the screens. Luckily for me, they were pretty shoddily woven. I pulled the reeds apart and thrust the lens of my camera through the gap. Would I get away with it? Or would I be seen? It was the gamble of a lifetime.
A tenacity of purpose that's considered admirable in a journalist, I suppose.
Run a risk one day, run a scoop the next. That's Menimemoism in a nutshell. Yeah.
At last. It would appear we have a genuine witness to this wicked crime. The evidence and testimony are extremely compelling. I believe we may be close to a verdict.
No!
Yes. Oh, wonderful news, Your Excellency! Wonderful!
Nevertheless, it cannot be denied. This testimony begs one very large question.
What question?
Exclusive news! A startling photograph. All the makings of an exceptional story for the reporter. Why then was the story never published? It's true. Why did he send it to the police? Oh! That's right. Ugh. It seems clear to me that there are circumstances at play here that are yet to be understood.
Ha! Or pathetic excuses. Very well then, Counsel. Proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Excellency. There's more to this reporter than meets the eye. He's keeping something about this case very close to his chest. The beach hut was made of shoddy old reed screen, so there were plenty of gaps I could see inside through.
Hold it!
What made you want to see what was happening inside the beach hut in the first place? Call it, journo instinct. Can you think of a better reason? Oh. I don't know. Perhaps because, as well as being a proven criminal, the person inside was a young woman. I see where you're going with this. Brace yourselves, people. He's painting the journo as a voyeur. But unfortunately for you, handsome young man, I'm gay. It's hardly slander, sir. You had a camera, and you were taking pictures without the woman's knowledge. Nope. You've got it all wrong, little student boy. Sorry. To my mind, all that was inside that hut was a scoop. Nothing more, nothing less. Scoops know no gender. Man or woman, it's all news. That's not even Menimemoism. It's basic journalism. If only the courtroom was as indiscriminate. Right. So if that's all buttoned up, can we move on?
Tell the court then, witness. What sight befell your eyes when you looked inside the hut?
A sight that vindicated my journo instinct, that's what. When I pulled back the reeds, I could see it all as clear as day. The English woman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her.
Hold it!
It's almost like he knew something was gonna happen. So you actually saw Membami-san enter the hut. Yup. And she was raging. Raging like my journo spirit. And the argument you mentioned, what was that about exactly? You stole it. I didn't steal it. That kind of thing. Talking about the poison, I suppose. The student girl walked right up to the English woman and really started laying into her. I mean, if she'd laid into her anymore, there would have been eggs. That's funny. Laid. Eggs. Not bad, journalist. The man should have been an author. His descriptive talents are wasted on journalism. The student's rantings fell on deaf ears. Japanese person listening to English for the first time. Oh, sorry, I didn't even see that. Like a Japanese person listening to English for the first time. He really ought to work on his similes first, though, to be honest. Anyway, the point is, that woman in the dock was mightily angry.
And her temper finally got the better of her, it seems. Dear me.
Which was the climactic moment that I caught on film. Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife, throwing the English woman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back.
Hold it!
Do you swear before this court that you actually saw the precise moment when the stabbing took place? Ha! The precise moment? I didn't just see that. I saw the whole hellish scene play out from start to finish. Oh yeah, give me that chart.
I have here a shrimple plan of the beach hut. Perhaps you could use it to explain to the court exactly what you witnessed.
Right you are. It's all here in my Menimemo bed.
Menimemo.
When I first peered into the hut, I'm sure that the English woman was on this stool at the back of the hut here.
Yes, the accused's own testimony confirmed that.
She just sat at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly, is what I have noted down. Hey, it's my turn to testify now. Try not to interrupt. Ugh. Then the next moment, as I was watching...
God, this diagram makes the room, like, look huge.
In my mind, it makes it look smaller because the people, the nodes for the people, the icons for the people are, like, most of the room.
Sure, but I felt like the doorway was, like, not a third of that wall, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, that's fair. But like the tables like takes up so much space. The evil student girl entered the hut. Yeah. After a while, the pair of them ended up in the middle of the hut, arguing furiously. The English woman went for the student, but the girl dodged out of the way. And in a flash, plunged the knife into her adversary's back as the two passed each other.
What you described is a grim scene indeed.
Thank you. I wrote it myself. Never sugarcoat the truth. That's what Menimemoism says. The beach hut plan has been entered into the court record. By the way, Menimemo-san, whilst you were watching that terrible scene unfold before your eyes through the gap in the screen, did it not occur to you to try to prevent the tragedy rather than capture it on film? Journos have to be observers. We can't get involved. That's our... raise it. I said this correctly in another stream, and now I'm gonna flub it here. Raison d'être. So you didn't converse with Miss Brett at all? Obviously not. An observer always remains on the outside looking in. And that's something to be proud of, is it? Your Excellency, if I may.
Professor.
I think the witness's last, expertly phrased statement should perhaps be added to his formal testimony. Father? What are you?
I will grant the defense's request. Menimemo-san, you will supplement your formal testimony with the aforementioned statement.
Well, nihilism is the foundation of Menimemoism, but I'll gladly prove that my words aren't meaningless.
Wait, what?
It sounded good.
What did he mean by that?
I never once set foot in the hut, nor spoke with the Englishwoman. I was there only as an observer. Wait, I'm sorry. We got sent all the way to the end of the testimony there. Even though we had more things to press on. Right? We had... That was the last one we just pressed on. Weird. My smoldering journo spirit burst into flames. Quick as a flash, I whipped out my camera, ready to click. The court is fully aware of your desire to capture the incident on film, I'm sure. But why then did you choose to post the photograph anonymously to the police? I'm afraid I don't understand a word that's coming out of your mouth. I'm asking why, as a journalist, you decided not to make a story out of the incident. Think of me as a sculptor. A sculptor who makes art out of the sordid, private details of other people's lives. But I never discuss my own personal life on principle. I mean, that's basic Menimemoism. It's not something to boast about.
No doubt, your burning desire to see the truth exposed and justice done was what motivated you.
That's it. That's brilliant. My burning desire to see something or other exposed. There has to be a good reason why he didn't think to write an article about what he saw, though.
By your own admission, you were outside the hut. How then did you manage to take the photograph?
Ah, yes, that I'm glad you asked. Pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and... I want to read that as pork. Poked the lens through for the perfect shot.
Hold it!
But the two women inside didn't notice? Ha! Obviously not. If they had, where would I be right now? In jail, that's where. Which you think would make you reflect on what you were doing? Which you think would make you reflect on what you were doing? Nope. Journo's job is to collect little snippets of life as unobtrusively as possible. Leave nothing but footprints. Take nothing but photos. Yeah, that's spot on. Did he just make that up?
The point is, the witness risked life and limb to obtain this photograph. And this photograph reveals the whole truth. There is nothing more to be said.
I never once set foot in the hut, nor spoke with the Englishwoman. I was there only as an observer.
Hold it!
Really? You didn't set foot inside the hut at all? Are you quite sure about that? I think you may have the wrong impression of me. We're talking about a murder scene here. My nerves were stretched to breaking point already. Oh, I see. You were scared? Maybe I did have the wrong impression of you. Yeah. It was all I could do to stifle a scream and hold my hand steady enough to snap the shot. You really should have summoned help before thinking of your camera. Menimemoism and humanism don't always agree. And most of the time in those instances, Menimemoism comes out on top. As a sculptor of stories, sometimes I have to be cruel for my art. Yes, nailed it, dude. That's spot on. Surely he's making all this up. He claims to have spied the whole affair from start to finish. If true, his testimony is devastating. But it does seem as though he's holding something back, doesn't it? If that's how you feel, I suggest that you trust your instincts and press him on everything he said. As you've no doubt seen done many times before in your role as judicial assistant. Yes, I have. I've seen witnesses like this pressed often. I know exactly what to do. You want me to press again? Alright, what we got? So, I think the inconsistency here could be the angles?
Objection!
Oh, whoops. Meant to examine. Your Excellency, I must object to the witness's last statement. I mean, it was a misinput. You calm the fuck down, Judge! Don't you do it!
Reset the playthrough.
I did present it rather more forcefully than I intended to. My bad, my bad. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Ah! He really put me in my place there.
Bailiff, whack his pee-pee.
Now,
Judge, you got a problem here?
Unfortunately, they like still don't believe it. They still can't fathom that like a woman snuck in. Okay, let me hit the examine button. Examine. Okay, yeah, we got... There's in fact a gap back there.
Yeah, in fact...
Okay, that's fine.
She totally stood up and was stabbed.
Yeah, that's... She was numbed and got fucking stabbed. Examine... Yeah, okay. The angles and stuff there don't really... There's nothing like loudly contradictory there.
Yeah.
It's a little inconsistent. Nope! He couldn't have seen this girl walk in. His view was completely obstructed by the woman sitting down.
Yes.
I don't know if that's it, though. Alright. The beach hut was made of shoddy old reed screens, though there were plenty of gaps I could see through. The English woman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her. I don't know what I would present here, though. And it's probably on the last one that I have to actually press on. So, let's look. Okay. Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife, throwing the English woman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back. My smoldering journo spirit burst into flames. Quick as a flash, I whipped out my camera, ready to click. I pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and poked the lens for the perfect shot. Right, so he was just peering through normally, and then he tore it apart to take the photo. Checks out.
Yeah.
I never once set foot in the hut nor spoke with the English woman. I was only there as an observer.
It occurs to me there's also a problem with how would Ray have stabbed her in the back?
Yeah.
Stabbed her in the stomach, sure.
Well, he explained how.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, she dodged her and then stabbed her in the back.
Okay.
They kind of swapped positions. In fact, I might repress on that one. I'm going to present the pen. And see what happens.
Objection!
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, that
It's
place
pen
is not
time.
a crime scene. Yeah.
It's pen time. Menimemo-san, until now, I've had a firm belief that newspapers are in the business of uncovering and publishing the truth. You're spot on there. You're going places. The press does not lie, which is why I'm proud to wear the emblem of the Shoyu News on my arm. In a way, that's more Menimemoism. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Sadly, though, it seems the journalists who write for those papers don't always share the same passion for the truth.
What are you suggesting with those recriminatory words, Counsel?
Like that one, recriminatory. Menimemo-san, do you recognize this fountain pen? This pen was found at the scene of Miss Brett's death. In fact, the murdered victim was gripping it in her hand as she died. What are you? If you look at the barrel of the pen, you'll notice that its owner's initials are engraved there. Hold on. We can't see her hand here. Okay, I was curious if, like, the pen wasn't in her hand at that point or something. R.M.
Yes! Thank you for bringing that up, Counsel. The initials of the accused, Ray Mbami.
Is it a coincidence, I wonder, that your initials are also RM?
No!
It's not a coincidence, you say. Got him. Write-en Menimemo. Write-en Menimemo. RM. That's horse dung! Can't you see? One of the central tenets of Menimemoism is being a pencil user. And yet, as the court will clearly be able to see on your right hand, there is a very obvious blue ink stain. When was the last time you looked at the bottom of your hand there?
I mean, wasn't the murder like a couple days ago?
Oh, they don't bathe in the 1900s. Oh, everyone's so stinky right now.
Oh no.
Stinksado. It would appear that you must have rather carelessly left it somewhere recently. Your favorite fountain pen, that is. Horsey horse dung. Menimemo-san, is it not the case that before she died, You met with Giselle Brett in the beach hut.
Objection!
I should be listening to this absurd nonsense. It's nothing but another excuse.
Exactly. Show You News will stand behind me all the way. I deny everything. Oh, so you deny that you didn't do it? Oh! There must be as many people with the initials RM as there are stars in this night sky.
It was that Korean pop star, I swear.
The defense has neither the time nor the inclination to count every star in the sky. Damn it. Hmm? Oh my god. Oh. God. Oh, it's just so smug and hot. And there's no need anyway, because this pen has more to tell. Yes, there is another clue. A clue that undeniably proves who its owner really is.
In that case, counsel, the defense will now show the court where this alleged clue lies.
Of course, Your Excellency.
The logo.
Oh, the logo! That's right! Hey, I've got it! As well as the initials, there was also an emblem on this fountain pen. An emblem that you will of course recognize, Menimemo-san.
Goodness me! It's the emblem of the Show You News!
In other words, the owner of this pen is an employee of the Show You News, whose initials are RM. Suddenly, the stars in the night sky don't seem so numerous, do they? She talks better shit than Ryunosuke does. Well, Menimemo-san, how do you respond? No!
Order, order! Explain yourself, witness!
So, this is how the mighty Supreme Court works, is it? Using coercive tactics to have well-meaning citizens reveal harmless secrets. I've used nothing but honest tactics. Alright, then fine. I won't try to hide it anymore. Yes. Not long before that grim tragedy unfolded, I, a Show You News reporter, on behalf of the public, conducted an interview with the Englishwoman. An interview?
You never mentioned this before!
When exactly was this? As I said, it was before that evil little student girl showed her face in the hut. I couldn't have lasted more than 2 or 3 minutes. I'm sorry I said it that way. It couldn't have lasted more than 2 or 3 minutes, that's all. It was just a brief exchange. My mind's not in the gutter, it is the gutter. But it came to nothing. And as we many memoists say, people don't pay their dues for unworthy news. No one says that!
However insignificant you deem it to be, this court cannot overlook the meeting between yourself and the victim. You will testify now under oath about the precise nature of this meeting and what transpired.
Got it. Yes, alright. But, on one condition.
Condition?
In all good conscience, I couldn't speak out alone about this. You need to call back the earlier witness, Soseki Natsume-san. You have to voice one of these guys now, Tommy, or else I'm going to die.
Fair enough.
Which one do you want?
Well, I guess I'll take Menimemo then.
Alright. So Seki-san. Oh, yes. According to my honest notes here, that man has a secret of his own. Embrace yourselves. Because it's not a harmless one. It's big.
What?
What? Can he do this? Can he call a person back? Menimemoism states that one man's secret is every other man's front page story.
Very well. I will grant the witness's request in this instance. Officer, summon the earlier witness back to the stand.
So Seki-san hiding something? No, he's just stupid. Alright. The witness's secrets.
I asked the Englishwoman for an interview, but she declined. So I left the hut without making a fuss.
Got a pizza with me, though.
But then, watching secretly from outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witness come running. The detective realized that the victim still had a pulse, so he ran off to fetch help. And that's when this writer man here asked the woman a very significant question. But he didn't say anything about that in his testimony, which is why Menimemoism demands I reveal it now.
I did what?
You mean to say the victim... The victim regained consciousness?
Oh, he asked her, not Ray?
Yeah, I thought, okay.
What the fuck?
Soseki-san?
Well,
When she did, you decided to ask her a question?
I wanted to know what it was based on!
Based on what, man?
And then she said, gay manga. That's, true. Yes?
Holy shit. He did! And that's not all. The woman gave him a very definite answer. An answer that incriminates the accused.
Why do I have to stand all the way over here to the left? Oh no, someone else is gonna walk in.
This is preposterous! Why am I only hearing about this now? Why didn't you mention this before? You yokel hack!
It wasn't even a conversation! Yes, I did pose the withering English Rose a question. I don't deny it. But she could no longer speak. She was barely conscious even.
Counsel for the defense. I expect a thorough cross-examination to be conducted here.
You better spank Soseki-san. He's been a naughty boy.
This court must and will know the truth.
Absolutely, Your Excellency. The reporter is claiming that Ms. Brett implicated Ray somehow. What on earth could have happened in that hut? I asked the Englishwoman for an interview, but she declined, so I left the hut without making a fuss.
Hold it!
Okay. You asked her for an interview, you say?
Well, of course I did. I wanted to ask her about the incident she was involved in at the end of last year.
About the case in which Dr. John H. Wilson, father of my best friend Iris Wilson, lost his life? What the fuck did you just say?
It's not the way I phrased it. Menimemoism calls for straight talking. Why'd you, murder Dr. Wilson? Is how I put it to her.
Yes, that sort of talking is as straight as a ruler.
Ask every question as if you're asking for a menu in a restaurant. I say, it's the best way. A veteran at the paper taught me that.
And how did Miss Brett answer?
With one simple phrase.
Fuck off.
Mystery is a woman's charm. Woo! That told me. So I waltzed right out of there.
Really? Something about that doesn't quite seem to fit together.
Leave every room as if you're waltzing in a dance hall, I say. It's the best way. A veteran at the paper taught me that.
Then watching secretly from the outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witnesses come running.
Hold it!
That was very persistent of you, considering that Miss Brett had just turned you away.
Persistent wins the prize. Any Menimemoist will tell you that. Let them think you've left. Then just when they lower their guard, that's when you swoop in for the scoop.
Smash Neutral will be like.
And the fruits of your labor are all too apparent in this telling photograph. Though I'm sure the young yokel student would rather not be reminded of this damning evidence.
Actually, it's thanks to that photograph that we managed to identify this witness.
And now that you found me, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I've got nothing to hide.
I'm sure.
Please, do go ahead, witness. The court is eager to hear what you have to say.
Try to stop. Oh, no. My bad, my
Then
bad.
try to stop me. There's a story to tell here, and I'm going to tell it.
The detective realized that the victim still had a pulse, so he ran off to fetch help.
Hold it!
And so Seki-san remained behind in the hut, screaming and crying and shitting himself, I'm sure.
That's right. Yep. Our
It was a
author
mess.
friend here was a blabbering wreck, shaking all over, from his head to his toes, mustache twitching, eyes bulging.
What do you expect? You don't know the terrifying troubles that taunted me whilst traveling abroad. Back behind baleful bars. There will be coming for me, surely. He's still scared of Van Zeeks. That's all I could think. I felt as though I were grasping for air, drowning in a sea of cold sweat. Poor Soseki-san. His experiences in London have scarred him deeply. As the world seemed to close in around me, I quietly recited a prayer to Amida Buddha. Eternal emptiness, empty eternity. The end is coming for me, surely.
No sutras are to resound in my courtroom, please. And now, we've come to the crucial part. Well, that's when it happened.
That's when this writer man here asked the woman a very significant question. What question? What exactly did he say?
Oh, well, now, you should hear that from the horse's mouth, I think. Don't you, Mr. Writer Man?
Ah!
Out with it, you yokel!
No, I see what Race is saying. He does look like Randy from South Park. At times with like his over expressions and his massive mustache.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I see. Okay. What did you say to her? What did you say to the dying Englishwoman?
Well, in truth, I'd been catching crabs at the water's edge and building castles in the sand, you see. My precious little boy, Soseki. Just an innocent little lad, scarred for life, a child at heart.
Well, the seaside is a place to be at leisure. I suppose, even for a grown man.
But then all of a sudden, from that little beach hut, a young girl's panic-stricken cries for help pierced the air. Ray! I ran up the beach to see what was happening, to find the defendant leaning over the collapsed victim. As soon as Inspector Hosonaga saw Miss Brett on the ground, he sprinted off to get help. And then, just a moment later, I heard a faint moan. Oh, a moan from the dead English woman! I nearly jumped out of my skin! But what did you ask her, Soseki-san? I asked her, who did this to you?
Don't protract this any longer. How did the woman respond?
She didn't! She said nothing in response! But...
When in the stand, you will answer the questions asked of you unambiguously. Now, without evasion or reticence.
Reticence.
I demand that you amend your testimony.
I will! I asked her who did this to you, but she never replied.
Hold it!
So you tried to find out who the culprit was. He who asks a question is a fool for a minute. He who does not remains a fool forever. Oh yeah, sorry. He who asks a question is a fool for a minute. He who does not remains a fool forever. And having been labeled a criminal twice during my time in Great Britain, I was quick to make up my mind.
I don't want to get pinned for this. Who killed you?
Twice?
I don't know.
We defended him the once. That wasn't like a... No.
Double case. No, I don't know. Maybe he's referring to something that happened in his real life.
He wasn't like...
That we were not privy to?
It must have happened before...
Yeah, I don't know.
We ran into him ever. Huh, write that down. Better to be a fool for a minute than remain a fool in prison forever.
However, you've indicated that the victim failed to respond. Is that correct?
I know why. I know why the English woman said nothing. She was ignoring me because of my stoop and mustache because I'm Japanese! Oh dear. Soseki-san has really developed a dislike for the English, it seems. Well, having read the report on his time in Great Britain, I can't say I'm surprised at his xenophobia.
But the Englishwoman didn't ignore you at all. Did she, Mr. Writer Man?
Well, yes, alright. She did respond in a manner of speaking, I suppose. She just lifted a trembling finger and pointed in the direction of the defendant.
Hold it!
Miss Brett pointed a finger at the defendant? So Seki-san, is that really true? It's not easy to stand here and say this, but when we first entered the beach hut, the Englishwoman was sprawled on the floor before us. The student girl standing on the far side of her. When I asked who did this to you, the Englishwoman summoned her last ounce of strength, pointed a trembling finger at the back of the hut. Impressive. Which was, it can't be denied, in the direction of the student girl who stands accused today. No.
Soseki-san, why on earth did you neglect to mention this in your original testimony?
But, fiddlesticks, I say!
This is not a British court of law. You will respond in Japanese.
Oh, yes, of course. The Englishwoman did point her finger towards the back of the hut, but I was trembling, and she was trembling, and everything was a blur. And thinking about it, I feel as though perhaps she was pointing in a slightly different direction. Actually, no, not slightly. In a very different direction to where the student girl was standing. To somewhere at the back of the hut, where nobody was standing at all. You mean that your memory of events and the direction in which the victim was pointing are both unclear? Yes, that's it. Unclear. Domain expansion. I'm very, very unclear.
Objection!
Your Excellency, surely this proves that the matter beyond all reasonable doubt. Yes, the woman may barely have been conscious, and yes, perhaps her finger waved slightly. But there can be no doubt that this was an attempt by the victim to confirm the identity of her assailant. Why? Because as the court can see, there was no one other than the accused in the direction the victim was pointing. It is now abundantly clear that no one besides the accused could possibly have committed this crime.
But there was someone else in that direction.
I am inclined to agree.
You may now begin your summation examination of the jurors to point out something obvious.
In the absence of any credible argument to the contrary, I believe we can now conclude this trial.
He literally just said she was not directly pointing at...
I've got away with it! The headline's writing itself.
Double Jeopardy is so easy to exploit.
Dashing lawyers, hopes dashed. 92 point across the whole page. We'll do an extra edition.
This is a serious blow, Susato. Unless we're able to identify the true culprit and substantiate our claim with evidence, the judge will give his ruling, and the trial will be over. But that's impossible, Father! We don't even know how the crime was committed yet! Impossible though the task may seem, we have no choice. We must think back over everything we've learned thus far. Somewhere in all those details, I'm confident we'll find the clue we need. Ray gave us her account of how events unfolded in the defendant's antechamber before the trial resumed. She told us what happened at the precise moment Miss Brett was killed. The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying, and then a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet before collapsing on the floor in front of me with a knife in her back. How could Miss Brett have been stabbed in the back in a beach hut that was empty but for herself and Ray? Somewhere amid all the information we've gathered so far, there must be an answer to that question.
I take it then that the defense has nothing further to add. So, the gallant Yoko student's luck finally runs out. I can't say I'm surprised. In that case, I am ready to deliver my final verdict on this matter.
This is a crucial turning point now. If I can't establish what really happened, it's over. Owari-da. Where was the real culprit hiding? And how did he or she stab the victim? I know how.
Objection!
Dude, this is great. We didn't even do anything with that testimony. We just pressed it. It was great. Your Excellency, I respectfully ask you to postpone your adjudication for the time being.
Oh, to what end, Counsel?
The defense would like to present the court with an alternative theory. An alternative theory that can explain who the victim was actually trying to implicate with her dying gesture.
Objection!
An alternative theory? Ha! None exist.
Objection!
There was someone else present at the scene who could have committed this crime.
What?
And the victim, Miss Brett, tried to reveal who it was to those around her at the time. By mustering all of her remaining bitch strength and pointing a trembling finger in the killer's direction.
This is fiction. Fantasy. Very well. As you seem so sure of yourself, Counsel, I am prepared to hear your alternative theory. So, young Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency.
About to sneeze, sorry.
You will present your latest theory to the court by means of this plan. At the moment,
the victim was stabbed, where exactly are you proposing the culprit was concealed? Right?
That's a really awkward spot to present, but I'm doing it, because that's where they were.
Yeah. That's.
Naruhodo-san would never give up. And I'm a Naruhodo right now. The true culprit who fatally stabbed Miss Brett was concealed in this location here.
Are you mad, Counsel? You're suggesting the culprit was outside the hut. What? Order.
But student lawyer Naruhodo-san Esquire! That makes no sense at all!
You've just pointed out the exact spot where I was hiding to get my scoop snap.
My Scoopy snaps.
I didn't see any suspicious individuals loitering about. I can swear to that. Obviously, if the culprit had been outside the hut, there was no way that he or she could have stabbed the victim who was inside the hut.
Actually, Prosecutor Aeughhhhh, there is a way, and we've already established it. And in point of fact, the defense can provide evidence strongly suggesting that is precisely the way Miss Brett was killed. I want to reread that one. Nope. Shut up, Aeughhhhh. Go on. I don't need to reread that.
Okay. The defense's assertion is clearly too fantastical for the court to comprehend. You will need to give us more guidance, Counsel. What piece of evidence corroborates your theory that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut?
I'm going with the... I feel like either photo should work. This one is probably more damning.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, I've presented it now. But I haven't the first idea why I chose this piece of evidence. Don't worry, Sussy, I do. This piece of evidence bears out your theory of how the victim was stabbed. It's something of a windfall, Your Excellency. I think the words you were looking for, Counsel, was downfall.
Damn!
Fucking fire! Bailiff, high five him for me. There should be a visible trace somewhere. A trace. Yes, on the hut itself. Ah, Ace Attorney, never change.
What the fuck, man?
Never, ever change. You know what? Fair. So here's our problem, is that the description here is a photograph of print taken at the moment the victim was attacked. This is what it actually is. It's the incriminating photo. This is the crime scene photograph, right?
He did also. I guess he did also say that he tore that hole open to take the photograph. But this is like,
yep,
yeah.
That's an Ace Attorney moment. That's certifiably an Ace Attorney moment.
Yeah,
we love these here.
The original photographic print of the crime scene.
It puts you in your fucking place, player. Never forget who's in control. It's not you. Yes, it's clearly visible in this print. The trace of the fatal thrust that was delivered from outside the beach hut.
Objection!
Do you take us for fools? There's no hint of any such thing.
I'm not sure that everyone present would agree. Someone at least appears to have noticed what it is that I'm referring to.
Counsel, once again, I must call on you to be explicit for the court. Where on this photograph is the trace of the stabbing, which you claim took place from outside the hut?
Let me just double check here, just in case there's some other nonsense. I did it. It's the slit.
It's the slit. Yeah.
Take that!
Yeah. No, it's the slit.
Look closely, just here. Zoom! Yes! Enhance! We've done it! I'll never forget the fucking zoom and enhance that Lotta Hart presented during 1-4, the end of the first game. Fucking ridiculous. You wanted the enlargement? You got the enlargement. In the screen at the back of the hut, you can see the effects of a blade having been forced through the reeds.
No, I can't. I can't see any such thing.
It's true that the hut in question had 4 walls, as you'd expect. However, by parting the reeds, a knife blade could easily penetrate them.
This is extraordinary.
Yes. The true culprit actually stabbed the victim from outside the beach hut. Ah! And of everyone present at the scene, there was only one person who could have done that. Only one person who was directly outside the hut when Miss Brett was killed. Right in Menimemo-san. It could only have been you.
No!
Objection!
This preposterous idea leaves me almost speechless. Just look at that photograph again. The victim lies almost exactly in the center of the beach hut, does she not? Are we to assume, as part of this farcical scenario, that the assailant was a knife thrower?
Objection!
No, of course not.
Damn, we're not.
If you recall the testimony of the defendant about the events just before the victim's death, inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable.
A stool?
Have another look at the photograph. The slit in the read screen would align perfectly with the back of a person who was sitting on that stool.
My word. So, in fact, the victim was...
killed while sitting on that stool by a stab wound to her back delivered through the read screen. Having been attacked, Miss Brett rose to her feet instinctively, but then, unable to speak, she collapsed on the floor in the middle of the hut before the defendant, Membami-san, before Membami-san's appalled eyes. Like, it's M's in what's supposed to be a Japanese name, and that is what's throwing me off. Like, the M's can show up, like, sometimes, like, as a pronunciation thing, but it's just like, I want to say Membani or Menbani.
Yeah.
And that, Your Excellency, is the truth of what happened on the beach that day. By your silence, Menimemo-san, I take it that you don't deny the charge.
This is... absurd! That will do. It would appear that we have a tacit admission of guilt from the witness. Accordingly, this court has successfully established the truth of this matter.
Case closed. Let's get poisoned.
Which means that the defendant, Membami-san, is innocent of the crime.
That was quick. Oh,
yeah.
Hell yeah, thank goodness. Let's go. I finally made him cave. I must say, I've never been more proud.
No! This can't be! The Aeughhhhh clan can't! What of my growth? My growth of hope! It wasn't at all an apparition! I can't accept this! I won't! I see no reason for the continuance of this trial. I will therefore move to conclude proceedings by delivering...
Hope his shirt's ripped off. Like, he's just a completely different person.
Well... this is all very convenient. This is how the highest court in our mighty empire delivers justice, is it? Suppressing well-meaning citizens' freedom to speak, and branding them as criminals.
But we've established that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut through the read screen walls. No one but you was in place at the time to have And no one but you was in place at the time to have his hand on the hilt of the blade. It's a perfectly logical deduction.
So, your argument hinges on the location of whoever stabbed the Englishwoman, does it? Well... It seems a little irrelevant now.
Irrelevant?
Where she was stabbed. How she was stabbed. It doesn't matter. I mean, whether she was stabbed at all makes no difference. Think about it. After all, this trial's already shown the whole thing hinges on something else. She's poisoned.
What are you talking about?
The Monokuma argument changes.
Yep.
He's going for the she was poisoned play.
Don't worry, we got the vial that proves he's got poison on his hand. We can still win this.
Brace yourself, little man. I'm talking about the fact that everything's changed. Because of the dirt you dug up.
What?
Enough obscurity! Explain yourself, witness!
Judge is fucking done with it. Everyone stop alluding to things.
Say what you mean. What's to explain? I'm talking about the poison, of course. The poison? Let's ask the professor for a comment on the situation, shall we? I understand that a deadly poison you were developing was stolen from your laboratory, correct? And it's been shown that this poison was administered to the victim, Miss Brett. Is that right?
That is correct. The unusual constriction of the victim's pupils are a sure sign that this particular poison was used.
I see. So, presumably that means that the victim already had the poison in her body before she was stabbed?
Yeah. Given that her pupils were clearly constricted, it seems highly likely, yes. If she had been dead already, the poison would not have circulated in her blood.
What sound do you think this is supposed to be? That, like, yeah, okay. Ah, how refreshing to hear the argument of a metropolitan mind. Precisely. It matters not a jot who stabbed whom and whose back and with whose blade. Because, quite simply, the Englishwoman's life was taken not by the knife, but by the poison.
Objection!
Take the poison.
But that can be explained by the poison being on the blade, as I already...
Objection!
Forgotten already, have we, Aeughhhhhh? During these very proceedings, the laboratory of the professor at your side assisted in providing that the blade of the weapon used to attack the victim had no trace of poison on it whatsoever. So, let me get this down. The facts, as skillfully established by the defense in this trial, turn out to be a headline-making red herring. Is that about right?
Well... Ah!
Order! But, where does this leave us? How, in that case, did the poison enter the victim's body?
There was an undeniably obvious answer to that. The lady most likely imbibed it. You mean she drank it? Have another look at the photograph here. As you can see, a bottle of carbonated water and a glass had been knocked into the sandy floor of the beach hut. The poison could have been slipped into either. So somebody made Miss Brett drink it.
Well, what do you know? Look at those dashing eyes. This will make a great front-page shot. Hey! What a bewitching stare. After all, I'm the last person you should be looking at. It would make no sense at all that I poisoned the woman, would it? I mean, that's been established already.
Hold it!
Established? What are you talking about?
Don't tell me you've forgotten. It's a little hard to believe, given that the person who established it was you.
Me? What on earth does he mean?
Oh, let me capture those white eyes. This is prime press fodder, this is.
So Seki's
would
like,
seem
can I
that
leave
this-
now? I don't want to be here anymore.
It would seem that this trial is not destined to end yet, after all. I hereby call upon the witness to give further testimony. That's great, that is. Let me get a shot of that magnificent beard, Your Excellency. You claim it to be impossible that you were the one responsible for administering the poison to the victim. You explain to the court in your testimony the basis upon which you make such a claim. I'm a journo and I'm a man. I've never tried to run or hide from anything in my life. And I'm not about to start now, because that's Menimemoism.
For a brief moment, I thought I'd illuminated the truth, but it slipped right back into obscurity again. Just where is this trial going to take us? Witness testimony. We're gonna take a break real quick here. A little short one. Complete innocence. Oh, that's a good music too. Alright, be right back.
I returned.
Maybe one of these streams, the right side of my body won't go numb in the middle of it.
Doubtful.
Doubtful is right. I just, like, cannot get comfortable. It just can't happen. Take your time. The more time I have to not speak, the better. I'm waiting for my right trapezius to like stop throbbing. For some reason, it's that. It's like the whole like the joint of the right side of my jaw. My right jaw joint down the side of my neck, like behind my ear, down my neck, into my trapezius. Like that's where
it has harmed me once again.
The stingray?
The stingray, yeah.
How do you mean?
The trapezius.
Yes. Yes, it is a stingray on your back. That's true. The clowns inside party. I got a clown car of clowns inside my trapezius. And I guess they're acrobats also, because it just hurts all the time. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna chew gum now.
Okay.
On the right side of my mouth. To help with the issue. I think it's just like some nights I sleep bad. Because I sleep on my stomach, so I have to like turn my head completely one direction or the other. You know, it's like you're nuts when you sleep. You're like, I just wish I could take them off while I'm sleeping.
Dude!
They get in the way.
I wish everything was detachable, man.
Just take my head off. Just leave it over there. Wouldn't need a pillow.
My arms.
I wouldn't need a fucking pillow if I didn't have this damn head.
I could fit through this grate if I didn't have these damn arms.
Damn, I could sleep in this bed if I didn't have this damn head. Yeah.
Because like I want to sleep on my side, and it's like,
oh yeah,
crushing an arm.
Yeah.
She wasn't here, and then it's like, you know, I'll lift it up to my head, then it's like, still kind of crushing my shoulder.
Yeah. I envy the back sleepers. I can't do it. I cannot fucking do it. I can either fall asleep on my stomach after an hour of attempting, if I'm lucky, or, I don't know, that plane ride went okay. Dude, that thing I had on my neck on the plane ride.
Yeah, that looks like the thing in my mind.
Yeah, because it just makes it so that it's not, you're not leaning your head anywhere. It just wraps around. It's like a collar for your neck, so you don't actually have to. It just your neck doesn't get used.
Yeah, that seems like the thing.
I think I was like falling to the right side a little bit, and I was like tucking my chin and my mouth into it as well, but I could still breathe through my nose, and it was pretty nice. I was pretty comfy with that. Anyway.
But, yeah, ready?
This man is admitting to stabbing a woman.
That's fine. You can stab a corpse. Totally legal. No one will arrest you for this.
No one. I wouldn't.
Oh, yes. I stabbed the English woman. It's that very fact that proves I'm innocent. Because why would I have bothered to stab the woman if I had already poisoned her? When I heard the student girl and that pompous English murderer arguing, it got my goat.
Really? That's your game of the year? Oh wait, no, that's greatest of all time. My joke failed. Go. 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 Go.
If the courts weren't going to punish Brett for what she did, someone else would have to see justice done.
That was like 4 lines. So you admit it then? That everything happened as I described? That you are the one who stabbed Miss Brett in the back through the read screen?
You can blame this miserable country of ours.
Don't talk about Japan like that, I'll kill you.
A country that bows to the pressure of foreign powers and lets murderers walk free. What kind of future could a country like that have?
Anime.
That's why I did it! I did what our pathetic leaders didn't have the guts to do! Slap bang in the middle of that charming lady's back! I plunged the blade of sweet justice right in there!
Wow. Oh my god. Huh.
As someone who spends his life seeing that the truth is told, I feel really awful about giving false information in my testimony before. But as it turns out, there was somebody else who had it in for the victim and got to her before me. That's right. You guessed it. That pretty little student girl. Now, there's a woman after my own heart.
Calm down, Dr. Disrespect.
My teen angel.
Yeah. Starts eating the ball. You're implicating Ray again.
She's the one who gave the poison to the Englishwoman and ended her pitiful existence. And suddenly, snap! This journo here is off the hook.
Yeah, totally. I don't know about that one. Oh,
The
no.
argument is sound.
Judge loves it. He's playing the game.
If the witness had administered the poison himself, he need only have waited for it to take effect. Subsequently stabbing the victim in the back would have been entirely nonsensical. And therefore, this reporter had nothing to do with the poisoning. Yes, it's all quite logical. That's right, it is. Logical and true. I'm glad you've all seen the light. Ah, justice at last!
This is unbelievable. And after I'd made so much progress in proving his guilt, is he going to get away with it now? Think of Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san. They never stopped looking for a way forward until the judge's final gavel. Oh shit, that better not have been the last one. No!
Very well then, counsel. Proceed with what I assume to be your final cross-examination in this trial.
Yes, Your Excellency! Complete innocence. Oh, yes, I stabbed the English woman, and it's that very fact that proves I'm innocent.
Hold it!
So, you do admit that you had murderous intentions towards Miss Brett, then?
The woman's very existence offended my sense of justice.
Your sense of... He's claiming some sort of righteous indignation?
Fair enough. She was
white.
pure evil. A cold-blooded killer who committed murder right here on our empire's soil. But did our good-for-nothing government do anything? Not a chance. So I had to step in. Fly the flag of justice. Put things right for the people. Yes, it was my civic duty. That's what drove me to do it.
So in summary, murderous intentions, then.
Whatever you want to call it, the point is this. That Englishwoman was a blight. So I had to do what was right. For society.
For society! Wait, why did I say that?
Yet, a real wrong was done. By the student girl in the dock. A crime for which she must pay. Obviously. Because the poisoning was nothing to do with me at all.
Why am I still up here?
Because I love you, Saseki-san!
Oh. Weird. Because why would I have bothered to stab the woman if I'd already poisoned her?
Hold it!
So you still maintain that you didn't give the poison to the victim?
Obviously. That'd be like putting a belt on your trousers when you were already wearing braces like these. The accused administered the poison, following which the witness stabbed the victim. An unforgivable act, certainly, but not one of murder. The crime rests on the accused's shoulders. And that is how the law works, you see, yokel. Who knows? You may even learn something here today. Two consecutive attempts on her life in the space of minutes. Quite a day for the victim. Do something that evil, and you've got it coming. That's how the law works. The law of reckoning.
That's not the kind of law this court upholds.
You will reiterate why you were compelled to stab the victim then, witness.
When I heard the student girl and that pompous English murderer arguing, it got my goat. Game of the year.
Hold it!
What exactly were they arguing about?
And what happened to that restaurant 9 months ago? Oh, about what happened to that restaurant 9 months ago. That's what. The student girl was laying into the Englishwoman for killing her beloved mentor, Dr. Wilson. Yes, John H. Wilson. A professor of medicine, invited here from England by Professor Mikotoba, no less. Right. But the Englishwoman just jeered. Her case was to be heard by the British Consular Court in Shanghai. However, there is little doubt that she would simply have been acquitted and sent back to her homeland, a free woman. It was eating that student girl up inside. You could see it. I really felt for her.
Hold it! Ray? Now we're fucking talking. I can't! I can't stand here and listen to this tripe! Ray!
Young girl, you stand accused here. You can't just blurt out whenever you feel like it. No, you can't. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of something very important. I'm in the middle of some very important testimony here. Just keep quiet and listen.
But this awful man is making all of this up! Susato, please! You have to make them listen! Who the fuck's that?
Return to the dock at once, Menbami-san. We are in the middle of a cross-examination.
Hold it!
Your Excellency, please. I implore you. That journalist is clearly not a trustworthy witness. Exactly! He's a filthy, rotten, black-hearted, bigoted, great peeping Tom. Dirty great peeping Tom.
Whoa! Take it easy there.
Please. I really think the court should hear what the defendant has to say.
Your Excellency, I see no need whatsoever to entertain the accused's remarks. I will grant the request of the defense.
More exciting that way.
But, Your Excellency!
Shut up!
This is likely to be the final cross-examination of these proceedings. As such, I believe it would be ill-advised to stifle the defendant's obvious concerns. Also, he did fucking stab the victim. Like, come on, guys.
Wouldn't it be more exciting if we have two people who are trying to kill a woman talking? Like, come on.
So, whilst recognizing that this
Contravenes.
contravenes regular protocol, I hereby call upon the defendant to speak.
Oh. Thank you so much, Your Excellency. She should have hit her head.
I keep thinking that, actually, every time she does that.
It was nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. We were discussing the stolen poison.
Hold it!
The stolen poison that killed the victim, you mean? I suspected her of being the one to steal it. I mean, just think about how she killed Dr. Wilson. That's true. Additionally, Miss Brett certainly had knowledge of the new poison.
But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed for the government.
Indeed. All visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult. That's true! I pestered Professor Mikotoba until he agreed to show me the poison when I visited the laboratory. But as I left, I was searched from top to tail. Miss Brett rather bluntly revealed the existence of the toxin we'd been developing, you see. And since Soseki-san expressed such an interest in it, I felt unable to refuse. Obviously, I gave nothing away, other than the fact that it was an extremely potent substance. I'm very ashamed of myself. It's just that I've had a singularly terrible experience with a deadly poison.
What?
What happened to you, dude?
Oh.
What happened to you? I wanted to look my old enemy in the eye! Surely you can understand that! To find out if my suspicions were true, I confronted Miss Brett about the poison. I told her that if there were to be an incident involving it somehow, it wouldn't just be the university. The military would be dragged into it. The whole government, even. It would be a complete disaster.
And how did Miss Brett respond to your concerns?
Told me to fuck myself. It was very rude. She just curled those beautiful lips of hers and said she didn't know the first thing about it. In English, actually. She said it in English. Ah, yes. Menimemo-san. One small question, if you don't mind.
I do mind. Can't you see I'm busy?
Clearly, you were outside the beach hut listening in whilst the defendant and Miss Brett were conversing. Presumably then, it was you who wrote this article about what you'd heard. Which one's that? I remember there being the poison article. Would he not have just... Hold on. He wouldn't have gotten the details at the Soseki Eugene interview. So he must have gotten the details here at the crime scene. Okay. Exclusive! Deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. The story was published in this morning's edition of Shoyu News. The details are too accurate for it to have been written by anyone else.
Sorry. Don't know what you're talking about.
Yes! Look at this! The entire article! Is almost what I said to Miss Brett, word for word!
Ah!
Damn, I'm too good at remembering what people say and writing it down perfectly. Fuck! Well, Menimemo-san?
As a journo and as a citizen of a free country, I don't have to reveal my sources. That's a founding principle of Menimemoism.
Father's clearly right about this. That reporter did write that article, and he based it on what he overheard from outside the hut. The details of the poison article have been updated in the court record. So that's what it was all about. You were trying to cover up the fact that you were listening in. That's why you came up with that stinking story about me arguing with her.
Shut up! My stories never stink! Look, whatever you say, little girl, it doesn't alter the facts. Your Excellency, there's something I want to say, and I want it to go on record.
Love it.
Very well. You may amend your formal testimony.
We never even got to press what the original final line was.
Whoa.
That's pretty cool. The point is, if you'd poisoned someone, there'd be no reason to then go and stab the person as well.
Hold it!
Perhaps you doubted the efficacy of the poison and sought to make sure your victim would die.
That's horse dung.
What?
That would be like pouring pepper on your Chinese ramen before you'd even tasted it. Completely reckless.
Chinese ramen? Raises
It's,
eyebrow.
Yeah, it is,
I'm listening.
It's funny. There's a lot of Chinese roots in ramen, even if it is like a Japanese dish.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah, like fucking Leo, in his mind, he thinks of it as a Chinese dish.
Sure.
Which is like, that was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like the noodles are more of a Chinese style.
Let me look up a picture. I'm curious what this looks like.
Whereas like the broth is more of a Japanese style, like type of broth. Because like Japanese noodles are more like udon, right? And not as like thin like ramen is.
Looks like ramen. Less toppings, maybe? I don't know, but there's so many varieties. Anyway, that would be like pouring pepper on your Chinese ramen before you'd even tasted it. Completely reckless.
Although, it might surprise you to learn that I am a bit of an impromptu pepper pourer as it happens.
An impetuous.
Oh, impetuous pepper pourer as it happens.
An impetuous pepper pourer as it happens. Okay. Once the victim had taken the poison, she would have been only minutes away from death.
Take the poison.
Take the poison. And yet, this man then proceeded to stab her in the back as well. There has to have been a good reason for that. He didn't know the full extent of the poison, probably. Proof fatal in minutes. Current methods cannot stick to you. Let's see. There has to have been a good reason for that. If it was the reporter who gave the poison to Miss Brett, then clearly, he must have done it prior to Ray entering the hut. Yes, that's undeniable. But between him leaving the hut and the victim being stabbed, there was one very crucial change in the situation. Sorry? What change? The reporter overheard the conversation between Ray and the English woman. Yes, that's it! That's when Menimemo-san first found out the exact nature of the poison he'd used. That could be the key here. Right, so... he wanted to kill her so that the eyes wouldn't constrict. I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he must have heard something that made it seem like the poison wouldn't have killed her or something then. If the victim had unwittingly taken the poison already, the reporter would have had no reason to stab her. On the face of it, That logic sounds entirely reasonable. But there's no question that this man was responsible for Miss Brett's murder. If we could think of a plausible explanation as to why he might have stabbed her even after the poisoning, I feel sure that everything would drop into place. That's what we should be looking for. Yes, I agree. And in order to do that, I must try to glean more information. Can I examine anything else here? That doesn't matter. Can't open this yet. This is gonna be our ace up our sleeve. Oh yes, I stabbed the English woman, and it's that very fact that proves I'm innocent. Because why would I have bothered to stab the woman if I had already poisoned her? So I think I'm not saying it's this one, but it's gonna have to be this for some reason. Because this just updated. I don't think the information inside updated, though. No. This is just the article.
Yeah, one of the symptoms occurs within minutes, starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death.
Impaired breathing.
So it's like...
Starting with impaired breathing. Did she not have any impaired breathing? She had a conversation.
Yeah.
It's written there. An article about poison that was stolen from a laboratory at Yume University. The reporter, Menimemo-san, based it on information he gleaned by eavesdropping. Why would I have bothered to stab the woman if I had already poisoned her? When I heard the student girl in that pompous English murder arguing, it got my goat. It was nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. We were discussing the stolen poison. The point is, if you'd poisoned someone, there'd be no reason to go out and stab that person as well. I think it has to be because there's nothing else.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing else.
Yeah, it could be 4 because it's like that's the one where they talk about them arguing.
I'm thinking it's 5 or 3. 5, 3,
or 3, yeah.
Or 2. Because why would I have bothered to stab the woman if I'd already poisoned her?
Right, so obviously this is the
I want to start here, I think.
I think it's 2 because, like, this is the contentious statement, right? I think 3, it's like, I see, like, I'm in agreement with the idea of, like, well, they're arguing, she would be talking, she'd be breathing, but it's like, I think that's a bit of a leap of logic.
Oh, then it's definitely that, if you're putting it that way.
I'm not sure. But I think... Yeah, I was gonna say 2.
I'm on a fucking I'm on a roll tonight, baby.
Yeah.
Well, I can think of one reason.
What?
What? But before I explain, I'd like you to confirm something for the court. Did you glean all the information for this newspaper article from what you overheard outside the hut? Of course he did! There can be no question of that! After all, when we were all in the laboratory together! All we were told is that it was a terrible toxin! And there was one more important fact to consider. According to the witness, Menbami-san's verbal attack against the victim began as soon as she entered the hut. In other words, it would have been impossible for her to have slipped the poison in Miss Brett's drink.
Objection!
Wasn't thinking that, but that's true.
Yeah. Where are you going with this, Counsel?
Menimemo-san has made it quite clear that he observed every single thing that happened in the beach hut. If the defendant had somehow found an opportunity, this man would have seen it. Well, you got me there. That's not what I was going for, but that's true. Which means that Miss Brett couldn't have imbibed the poison whilst the defendant was present. In fact, it must have been administered to her before Membami-san entered the hut.
Yes. Very articulately put. Yeah, I didn't think about this.
It's good. It's good. I want to solve it. I don't want to be smarter than the people on the screen. When I walked into the hut, I immediately started to press Miss Brett about the poison. At which point, Menimemo-san overheard some worrying information.
Worrying information? What worrying information?
The information which he subsequently included in his newspaper article, namely, that the poison was being developed in strict secrecy, and that it couldn't be readily obtained. Absolutely. In fact, that's quite an understatement. The only possible place it could come from is my lab. Right. He used poison that I guess would implicate him. Like, they would investigate the fact that this would be one of the people could have stolen it.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So it's like suddenly he realized that it's like, shit, this woman needs to die from not poison.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And furthermore, anyone afflicted by the poison would exhibit telltale signs in death. The extreme constrictions of the pupils. Yes, it's quite stark when you see it. There are other poisons that show similar symptoms, but not among new substances that are undetectable. In other words, it would be clear that the victim's life had been ended by the use of this particular poison, which would reduce the number of suspects to only a handful of people, meaning we would have been defending Soseki-san!
Yeah. Oh!
Okay. Everyone in my laboratory is aware of the unique properties of the toxin we've been developing. None of them would be foolish enough to attempt to use it for some nefarious deed. Membami-san being no exception. Therefore, we can conclude that whoever administered this unique poison to the victim was a layperson, unaware of its telltale properties. In other words, someone like you, right in Menimemo?
Yeah!
It was you who stole the poison from the laboratory that day. And it was you who administered it to the unwitting victim. But you quickly realized that was a terrible mistake. Because the poison caused such unusual symptoms and was so traceable. The bailiffs begin to encroach. As you listened in from the far side of the beach hut's thin walls, you learnt of these facts. But you'd already given the victim the poison at that point. It was too late. So you hatched a plan to disguise your mistake. A plan that involved stabbing the victim in the back through the read screen.
Attention!
But what good could that possibly do?
Isn't it obvious, Counsel? The plan was to kill Miss Brett before the poison could take effect. Once in the blood, the poison causes the onset of pupil constriction. But he had hoped to precipitate the victim's death before that happened, hadn't he? Exactly. Because without any revealing signs of the new secret poison's use, no one would ever have suspected.
This is extraordinary.
Yes. The effects of the poison meant it would be too easily identified, so the killer had to mask its use. I apologize. So the killer had to mask its use, which he attempted to do by plunging a knife into the middle of the victim's back. Ugh, the Japanese.
Order, order, order. The argument presented is sound. The court is satisfied that it warrants consideration. Does the prosecution have a counter-argument it wishes to put forward?
Well, there are a number of... I mean, yes, I counter completely.
Objection!
Whiff. The prosecution's evasive response clearly shows that in much the same way as he nurtures the remnants of his top knot, he is clinging to lost hope. Jesus.
Lost hope.
You pathetic, useless fallen samurai!
Fallen? Who were you calling fallen?
I don't need a counter-argument.
What are you talking about?
Should be blatantly obvious. I stole the poison, you say. Gave it to the victim, you say. Stabbed her, you say. Lots of fine theories. But I don't need a counter-argument. Because you don't have an argument yourself. Where's your evidence?
Huh?
Yes. You make it all sound so plausible, don't you? But without evidence, it means nothing. Whereas I base my news on facts. Facts? What do you mean?
What are those?
Explain yourself. I mean, what the professor said earlier in this trial. It's all here, in my many memos. Every word, every slip of the tongue, all noted. That's what the Shoyu News is famous for. It's the power of the printed word. But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed for the government.
Indeed. All visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult.
How's that then? Blown the story wide open? See, I write in Menimemo, a mere reporter for the Shoyu News. Couldn't possibly have stolen that poison from the professor's laboratory.
Ah! Oh? But there can't be any question of it. He must have stolen the poison that day. He stole it and used it to kill. And if that's the case, as you've identified, the poison itself is the definitive evidence we need. Because whoever stole it from the laboratory that day is the true culprit here.
What's your point? You annoyingly handsome country bumpkin.
My point is this. There was one way that you, Menimemo-san, could have stolen the poison that day. Oh, fuck yeah!
I have heard enough verbal conjecture now. Thank you. What the court must be shown is evidence. What proof do you have that the witness stole the poison on the day in question?
Wait, what about the summation examination, Judge? What about the hour and a half leading to the thing we already know to be the thing? Unless it wants me to click on this for some reason to point out his hand, but I think that's coming next.
It's the
The proof, Your Excellency, is this fountain pen. Fountain, a poison pen.
A fountain pen? How can that possibly be relevant?
These magical pens somehow seem to have enough ink to write many thousands of kanji characters. I believe they arrived in our country for the first time some 15 years ago now.
Bah! I swear by a weasel hair calligraphy brush and nothing else. These newfangled pens are merely a fad.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Well, as a forward-thinking man of words, obviously I love my fountain pen. Suck up a soup con of sumptuous ink, and one's work is awash with words in the blink of an eye. I like this one. That's a good pose. Very good. Also, what the fuck is a soup con?
It's got a fancy thing on
A
it.
soup song. A soup song.
A thing hanging on the sea.
How'd that get there?
How'd I get there?
So, Saki, you're so fucking wacky, dude. Look at you with your weird C's. That's right.
Subcon these nuts.
Fountain pens have a small reservoir in the barrel, into which ink is sucked up through the nib of the pen in order to write with later.
Oh, what does all this talking of sucking up ink have?
And just as it,
of course.
and just as it's possible to suck ink up into the reservoir, it's also possible to eject it through the nib again, of course. When she says the word suck and eject, I start losing my mind! I mean, he!
My... I mean, they... Go pen, girl. My word. Can this really be?
Well, Menimemo-san? When you saw the deadly poison before your eyes in the laboratory that day, you used your fountain pen, your very lifeblood, to steal some of it, didn't you? By siphoning the poison up through the nib and into the pen's reservoir!
Objection!
More absurdity. That never happened. It was made up by a group of writers.
Did we get you? True. We've heard that there were procedures in place to prevent thefts like this from the laboratory. But would anyone have thought to look inside a fountain pen of all places? No. I'm a little ashamed to say that for fear of offending our guests, such a detailed search would not have been conducted.
Well, this is quite startling, I must say.
I must remind the court that this pen was found in the clutches of the victim when she died. In other words, it was dropped at the scene by Menimemo-san. So the crucial question is, when exactly was the pen dropped?
Are you suggesting?
The natural conclusion is that in your haste to act whilst the victim was distracted for a moment, you dropped the pen after you emptied the poison from it into her glass.
Objection!
There could be any number of alternative explanations. For example, the witness could have been using his pen to write down details of his conversation with the victim. And when shocked by one of her outrageous answers, the pen fell from his quivering hand.
Objection!
No, that can't be.
Damn it!
If it was, how do you explain why the pen was devoid of ink? Oh my god, it was what? Holy shit, he totally did it!
Oh, what?
As you can see for yourself, if you examine the evidence, there would appear to be no ink present in the reservoir. What newspaper reporter goes to interview someone with nothing in his pen? No. The pen was dropped after the poison No. The pen was dropped after the poison that filled its reservoir had been emptied into the victim's glass.
Witness! What do you have to say in your defense?
I hate women. Oh.
So this is how our modern justice system works, is it? Oh, what if the ink in my pen runs dry? So what if my pencil snaps?
Oh, fuck.
I'm the Wolverine! I can always claw my way back into the game. I have plenty in reserve.
Oh! I hope it hits the judge in the beard and it's... Ow! Ah!
You claim I sucked the poison up in my pen. That's wild speculation, nothing more. If you thought you could bring down a fine, upstanding citizen with a trick like that, think again.
You stabbed a dead woman, potentially. It looks like it's going to take one final decisive blow to finish this matter.
As I see it, the situation is now very simple. It rests upon whether or not the witness did indeed steal the poison on the day in question. And therefore, it all depends upon whether or not the defense can prove that he did with evidence. Ha! No such evidence could possibly exist.
Objection!
But it does. Menimemo-san, this is how our modern justice system works.
What?
In the courtroom, evidence is everything. Something you would do well to remember. Because we are all well past the point of speculation at this stage, I assure you. She's so cool.
Very well then. I call upon the defense to present the aforementioned evidence.
This is it then. This will be the final piece in the puzzle. The defense can prove, by means of this item, that it was the witness's pen that was used to steal the poison. Check for traces of the poison.
Take that!
Counsel, what is that bottle?
This bottle contains the unique chemical reagent that can identify the poison in question. Yes, that poison is an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids developed by my colleagues and I. It would be impossible to detect traces of it by any other method. Or, from another perspective, simply with this chemical reagent, anybody at all could check for traces of the poison.
A reagent? What?
One drop of the contents of this bottle on the tip of your fountain pen, Menimemo-san, is all it will take to solve this case beyond all reasonable doubt.
No, you can't. I won't.
Your crimes are bad enough, but at least know when to admit defeat. Your Excellency, The defense requests permission to carry out the test on the fountain pen at once.
This isn't my fault! Trying to uphold this high civilized nation!
I took up arms in the form of the mighty pen. I fought tirelessly all in the name of justice and righteousness. Yes, many. Woohoo!
Whoa!
Susato, with me! I'm there! Hiya! Did I do it right? That was a Susato takedown, wasn't it? Holy shit. Not quite. That was a Ryutaru takedown.
Whoa.
I like that. I like that he just, like, crumbled it. He didn't even, like... Okay. Like, he crumbled before the test even came out. He didn't even wait to gamble on the fact that, like, the sand might have absorbed the rest of the remnants or something. Like, he folded. That was awesome. The instant the first drop of the reagent touched the nib of the fountain pen, it was clear to everyone present.
Remember, kids, lie up until the very end.
Never give up.
Never take accountability. When I saw it there in the lab, poison.
It wasn't my- This isn't my fault. The Empire drove me to this, trying to hold its head high as a civilized nation, but bowing its head to every foreign power's whim. I took up arms in the form of the mighty pen. I fought tirelessly on the battlefield of news, all in the name of justice and righteousness. Yes, Menimemoism is the paragon of justice. Many memo.
The devil got hold of me, and I decided to do it on a whim. I excused myself and emptied all the ink down the sink in the bathroom, washing the reservoir out carefully.
And then you waited for an opportunity to suck up some of the poison, didn't you? Into your fountain pen.
Yes, that's right.
Answer me one thing, Menimemo-san. Why did you steal it? For what purpose?
Isn't it obvious? To find out what it was made of and exposed it in an article. I mean, it was a secret project after all. Too juicy for a journal like me to pass up. Then why did the Englishwoman end up dead? I went into that hut intending to quiz her on her situation. That's all. As a reporter. A known killer, enjoying full freedom. Evading justice by leaving the country. I told her what I thought about it. And she just laughed in my face.
Oh, what's this? A Far Eastern caveman purporting to practice journalism. Really? You must learn the difference between reporting and listening at doorways, you ignorant plebeian.
What did you just call me?
This country, with its pretensions to a justice system, to a free press, it's really very depressing. You see our superior ways in the West, yet you lack the mental capacity to emulate them. Get out of here, you oaf. Get out, and crawl back into the cave you came from.
That's when I remembered. About the deadly poison I happened to have in my pen at the time. What a terrible tale. In my head, I knew I should just get out of there as quickly as possible. But I couldn't. I couldn't let her get away with what she'd done when she clearly had no remorse at all. I suppose it was my journo spirit getting all fired up.
I'd like to ask you something.
Yes.
You often talk about justice. But surely as a journalist, you could have used other means to deliver the justice you sought.
There's no justice in the press.
Sorry.
After that trial 9 months ago, I kept digging and digging to find out what had happened in that courtroom. And finally, I discovered the truth. It was a cover-up! That's what it was!
A cover-up? What do you mean?
I would remind you of your position, witness. Be careful of what you say.
You about to tell me this woman didn't actually kill Wilson? Well, obviously they covered up, like, everyone knew she was a killer. But if it's a cover-up, that means she wasn't?
Or probably more so that, like, the governments were involved to some degree.
Right, like, I get that, but like...
Oh, come on! Doesn't it strike you as strange? We're suddenly not allowed to convict a foreign
Okay,
national. Consular jurisdiction should never have come into it. And yet, that puffed-up Englishwoman was going to sail away into the sunset a free woman. The only possible explanation is that, behind the scenes, some deal had gone down between Britain and Japan.
What sort of deal?
I'd done my research, dug up all the dirt. It was all ready to be published. But you know what happened? The editor just tore up the article.
You came under pressure from the government, you mean?
If our government is going to let criminals walk free, if they're going to crush the free press, then what choice do I have but to see that justice is done myself?
Let's not forget, Menimemo-san, that you committed murder yourself and you tried to lay the blame at the defendant's door. I'm sorry, but you're no better than Giselle Brett. The truth is, you have no right to talk about justice at all!
Oh. I suppose. It would appear that we have reached a conclusion in this trial at last. Counsel for the defense. Ryutaro Naruhodo.
That's me! Oh! Yes, Your Excellency. Yeah, sorry, Your Excellency. Just using in a manly way here. It's a weird thing to say.
It's almost unbelievable that this is your first experience of the Supreme Court. It was an excellent performance. In truth, it very much reminded me of your cousin's exploits.
Oh! Naruhodo, Ryunosuke, you mean?
The way he handled the trial 9 months ago, and the way you handled this one. It gives me hope that we are genuinely entering a new era of justice in this land.
We have to defeat Britain first. That's very flattering, Your Excellency.
Hearing the defense you put forward today made me feel most keenly that the future of our justice system will be forged by you and your contemporaries.
Thank you.
So, Prosecutor Aeughhhhhh, do you have any final thoughts?
He's gonna cut his fucking finger off. Hell yeah. Come on. Come on. Kill yourself.
Oh my god!
Prosecutor Aeughhhhhh!
I, Taketsuchi of the Aeughhhhhh clan, have been bested by a callow youth, not once now, but twice. If there was any shred of my former self left, it is withered and died here today.
Gosh, your journey to cultural enlightenment sure took a while, didn't it?
Silence! Rather than living on in shame, I will end it all now with this blade. For that is the true path to Aeughhhhism.
Aeughhhhism? One hopes that's the only way in which he'll be modeling himself after the witness.
Sprig of my topknot. The time is right for farewell. Hope is lost forever. Taketsuchi.
Oh. Wow. 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 He finally did it to himself. He cut that real clean, though.
Mm-hmm. Now, in regard to the defendant, Rei Menpami-san.
Who are you again?
Ironically, I forgot.
Yes, Your Excellency. For being the crime of being a woman, we are sentencing you to death.
We are banishing you from this country.
Oh no! High fives.
I have reached my final verdict. I hereby find you not guilty.
Is that what we were trying to get? Oh, look how well Judge's face is framed between her bow, her ribbon. Isn't that nice?
I pronounce you and your lawyer man and wife.
First gay marriage.
Court is adjourned.
Bailiff, give me my Chinese ramen.
I didn't even realize today was Friday the 13th.
Yep.
It's over. It's over.
It's so Satover. My heart is still pounding in my chest, though. It's all I can do just to stay standing. I have to think of him.
Oh my god.
He's huge. Lawyers have such great responsibility. Such a great burden to bear. Don't they, Naruhodo-san? Susato! Susato! Thank you so much! You were so dashing in there! Ray! And Father! Honestly, I'm so touched by everything you've Oh no, I think I'm gonna cry. It wasn't easy, but together we made it. I was on the verge of tears at the end too. The only reason I'm still here is because of you. Oh, no, I can't take all the credit. It took courage to tell the truth in there. You did wonderfully, Ray. So I'd have to say that the congratulations belongs to you. Susato, don't be so standoffish. Sorry? We're friends, equals, and the trial's over. So no more of this formal super humility nonsense. It's time to celebrate with swagger. To throw caution to the wind. Caution to the... what? I am the great defense lawyer, Ryutaro Naruhodo. And I am taking you out to a milk bar tomorrow. or something. Fuck's a milk bar? Right, I see. I'll think about it, Ray. At any rate, we really knocked the wind out of that horrid man, and it felt so good! I'm feeling like I could kill! Oh yes, it was satisfying. It really was. Isn't there anyone else we could throw together? I hope you're not looking at me, Ray. Oh, my goodness, no! Of course not! Of course not. Ah, there it is at last. Ray's lovely smile. You fought for your friend to the very last. As your father, I'm extremely proud of you. Defense attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo. Thank you. But I couldn't have done it without your help. Anyway, it's time to bid farewell to Ryutaro, I think. I shall miss him in a way, but it's back to Susato Mikotoba now. Oh no! So I'll
never
see him again then? What a terrible shame. What? That's probably Soseki-san.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't know. What is happening? Ah, Soseki-san and Inspector Hosonaga. I do hope you've been keeping well.
Is that really you?
Yes. I had to change my appearance for, well, obvious reasons, I hope, but it's me, Susato Mikotoba. So dashing, so divine. No!
No!
Doubly dashing, yes, devilishly divine. Just look at you. I had no idea, Mr. Sato-san Esquires, that you were locum student Naruhodo-san Esquire's cousin. Astonishingly astounding ace attorney!
Holy shit. Be uninstalled, dude.
But, hold on, I gotta hit a soundboard for that one.
That's amazing.
Fuck yeah, dude. Oh, we're in his domain.
Oh my god.
Poor Soseki-san. So confused.
Absolute visual novel.
Yeah. I still remember the first time I ever met him. He was in a prison cell in London. What an extraordinary conundrum it was that the unwitting student from Japan found himself embroiled in. One of the, like, I don't know, 3 F-tier cases in the series. Sad. No, I don't want to see. Don't fucking show me the jury.
We're gonna see a lot of them, and you know we're gonna see a lot
Oh my
of them.
fucking god. No, leave me in Japan, please. I like it better here. But after Naruhodo-san's skillful, they forgot the other L. What the heck? But after Naruhodo-san's skillful defense at the Old Bailey, Soseki-san was free to return to Japan.
Because Ouchie took the other L.
He sure fucking did. Was it last stream that happened?
Yeah.
I was about to say it was part of the VLR streams. My days are... everything I do is just... It is all bleeding together. The worst it's ever been. Okay. Ooh. Just like Soseki. Well, it's the method acting getting to me, I guess. I don't know. And now he seems to have earned himself great fame as an author. With his most popular work, We Should Kill All British People. And I Am a Cat.
That's a truly impressive disguise. Yeah. Even I had no idea. And I'm Chief Inspector at the Police Bureau. Who came up with Mr. Turtle, no less?
Yeah. I'm not sure you should be admitting to that, Inspector. You didn't really do anything in this case.
I did let the victim die, just like always. Wait. Amazing. You're a woman of many faces, I see.
Just two, really. And this was a once-in-a-lifetime event, I hope. Oh, I'm not a patch on you, though, Inspector.
Well, I am a professional, of course.
Never heard that expression.
Yeah, I'm a patch
I'm not
on
a
you?
patch on you, though. I'm not even worthy of your caliber, I guess.
Yeah.
I do worry about Inspector Hosonaga sometimes. I really do. 9 months ago, he appeared here at the Supreme Court to testify. He was undercover, disguised as the head waiter of a restaurant. And then he let Kazuma die. Wait, I hate this guy.
In fact...
And then on the steamship to Great Britain, of course, disguised as a sailor to keep us safe on the journey. Oh! Though, that didn't help you, did it, Kazuma-sama?
From my perspectives, I have to admit that I have mixed feelings about all this. I mean, now the truth has been lost forever.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about the murder that the Englishwoman committed at the end of last year.
Ah, yes. It was an English doctor she killed, as I understand it. Dr. John H. Wilson, yes. The man I invited to Japan personally.
The mystery is, why did she kill him? And now that the culprit herself is dead, we'll probably never know the answer.
On the voyage to Great Britain, we had a most unexpected encounter. With Mr. Herlock Sholmes. The great detective, I mean.
Yes, I remember Mr. Sholmes well, of course.
Ah, my arch nemesis. How lightly you utter his name. I live with him. Well, according to the stories published about him in The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, the detective once had a partner who helped him solve crimes. A best friend. And that man was an exceptional doctor of medicine. By the name of... John H. Wilson. What? Dr. Wilson? I just can't believe that it's a coincidence. I think that the English doctor of medicine killed here in Japan 9 months ago must have been the friend and partner of Mr. Sholmes. And if that's really true... Iris! And the poor girl won't ever see her beloved father again. as you know. I traveled to Great Britain once myself to study. It was around the time you were born. Yes, grandmother told me about it. On returning to Japan, I took up my professorship at the Imperial Yume University. But I also serve another role, as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs. Also, this guy's only 43. This guy's 5 years older than, a Menimemo. Crazy. But I also serve another role, as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs. Yes, I was aware of that as well. In that case, I'm sure you understand that there are some confidential matters I cannot divulge to you. Could you just tell me one thing? He wasn't sick. Why did you summon me back to Japan? Huh? It's been 2 months now since I returned. When I left England, it was because an urgent telegram had arrived from Japan. It said that you'd collapsed with a high fever and you were growing weaker by the day. What? Where did that news come from? That's what I'd like to know. Because after that long sea voyage, I found you in fine health, father. Was there something in Great Britain that you perceived might inconvenience me in some way? Or harm me? That's really the only explanation I can think of. Dear me. Do you reserve your most cutting glares for your father, Susato? I'm sorry, my dear. I simply can't— let me go!
Holy shit.
Menimemo-san! So, one throw wasn't enough for you.
I've got one last thing to say before they take me away. Professor!
Me?
I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on. And that visiting student's fate.
A visiting student?
Giselle Brett, you mean? No, not her. The student of law who left for Great Britain 8 months ago.
Whoa. Student of law who left for— What? Student of law? He must mean Kazuma-sama? What are you talking about? What does any of this have to do with Kazuma-sama?
Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it.
He's actually British.
They don't know that the guy never made it to England. That he died on that steamship.
You find that out, jeez.
That he'll never—
Ah! Oh!
Well,
Whoa.
I didn't expect to find him in here.
Enter. For the first time, barring investigation, since everyone has to walk around, for the first time in the series, we have confirmation that the judge, in fact, can stand and has legs.
Has pants on. Yeah.
We don't— well, he's wearing a robe. We don't know if he's got pants on. Whoa.
World of strength.
Well, I didn't expect to find him.
The law is written by the strong. What were you officers playing at?
Terribly sorry, Your Excellency. Why do you talk like that?
Why is he British?
Oh my god!
I was coming to tell you that the rickshaw has arrived, Yuji. And it's a good job I came by.
Yes, thank you for dealing with him. And I'll be there shortly. Oh, Your Excellency.
The trial's over. I'm not Your Excellency anymore.
Whoa!
Feeling your father's friend. Seishiro Jigoku.
Holy shit! Look how soft he looks! Wow! Seishiro Jigoku. Ha! He has a name! Oh my god!
And may I say that since I saw you last, you seem to have taken on a more dashing appearance. Susato.
It was a fucking work! Whoa. Did you know all along? From the start of the trial? None of that picked up.
Anytime there's a fucking sound effect, like an like fucking Discord does not pick it up.
Yeah.
Like if I remember, if it's just a one sound line and I'm silent, I said it.
Yeah,
It just didn't pick it up. A judge sees everything, Susato.
I couldn't let you take the risk. If Seishiro here hadn't known and then he'd recognized you. Though I had a word in his ear beforehand. As an old friend. So, Seishiro, shall we?
Yes. Having ruled on that case, we now have various diplomatic issues to address.
Before you go, Father! Sorry, my dear. We shall have to return to our earlier conversation at a later date. Well done again, both of you. You did admirably.
Let's get lunch at the Carnival Cafe.
You read my mind, boss. Oh, thank you very much.
What did you think of my Seishiro sling, eh? It's been a while since I sent a man flying like that.
You know, we should go bully Aeughhhhhh on the way out. Invite him and then give him the wrong place that we're going to. It'll be great, just like old times. Alright, I can see again. Jesus, they were big. Whatever could Father be hiding from me? About Giselle Brett. About Dr. Wilson. And now it seems, according to the reporter, about Kazuma-sama. I'm going to have to bring this up with Father sometime. When nobody else is around. Judicial Assistant Mikotoba-san Esquires. Could I have a word? Oh, yes, of course, Soseki-san. What is it? I think perhaps it could be fate that we're meeting again like this now. You see, there's something I need to tell you. Oh? I believe that it may be related to the reason why your father summoned you back from England. This I have to hear. Please, Soseki-san, tell me at once. I will! I will! As you know, my time in England was terrible. Cursed, I have no doubt. Such an awful thing I was embroiled in. Thank goodness locum student Naruhodo-san Esquire stepped in. After he secured my freedom, I couldn't wait to get on a ship back here to my homeland. Having arrived in Japan, I submitted a report about my experiences to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The next thing I knew, I had a visitor. It was your father, Professor Mikotoba. He wanted to ask me all sorts of things about my report. My father? He seemed to be especially taken with a particular part of the report. Anyway, he left eventually, having thoroughly quizzed me. But it was the very next day that he sent the telegram to you asking you to return to Japan. What was it then? The particular part my father was interested in? I don't really know exactly. 2! Do you remember them? The 2 terrible cases I was caught up in. Of course, I can never forget. He must have talked about getting, like, arrested at some other point. I don't remember there being 2.
No. They're about to insert in a case that happened in like March that we did but didn't see.
Okay. Your father seemed to concern himself with the second case. The second one? You mean... Fuck. The one Mr. Sholmes forbade any of us talking about in front of the player? Which is why the only case involving you that any member of the gamer industry or whatever is aware of is the first. Gamer industry? Really, Alex? I guess we're a part of the gamer industry.
It's sad when you say it out loud.
It is. I don't hate the ring of it, though. But I don't care. I don't have to listen to what that dastardly detective says. Anyway, the point is, it seems that case somehow holds the key to all these curious unanswered questions. Are we gonna get a flashback case in this game?
It's about to happen right now.
That horrific, hideous, heinous case. The case of the haunted lodgings. Those 2 motherfuckers that never showed back up, dude.
Oh my god, there's 2 motherfuckers that never showed back up. They still might
Popeye
not
and
show back
British
up.
man. That case somehow caused my father to summon me urgently back to Japan? I thought that whole business was over. But it seems I was wrong. Perhaps that was only the start. Perhaps the story is not yet told.
So, the mystery of that English woman's death is solved, thank goodness. And having stood in the Supreme Court now, I think I can comprehend a little better. How you must be feeling as you fight for people's freedom in a foreign land, Naruhodo-san. But actually,
He's dead.
I'm writing to you today because of another
Oh.
matter. I met Soseki-san and we talked about that second case he was involved in. Father has said nothing to me, but I feel certain of it. That case holds the key to some great unsolved mystery. My notes on the case should still be in the office, tucked away at the back of the shelves on the left. Perhaps you might like to look over them again. Today, for the first time this year, it feels as though summer has arrived. The sky is a brilliant blue.
And it's 200 degrees.
It makes me long to see you again.
Wow.
Yours, Susato.
He's so in. I like how they reused that spot. Because it's what they had.
Mhm.
And, but it sounds like she's writing to his grave. Like he's dead. Alright. So... We're gonna stop here. Oh yeah.
The memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro.
Kokoro. Okay. We used to do this back in the older Ace Attorney playthroughs.
Yeah, back in 2013.
Yep, back in 2013. Exactly. Where
We'd watch the opening
we would
cutscene.
watch it and then just fade out on it. And then we would reload the save, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think much needs to be said. That was a really good first case. Solid. Nothing like unbelievable. Well, it wasn't like the best case in the series or anything. Pretty damn good though. It was on par with like most of the rest of the series, which is all I can really ask for in an Ace Attorney. So yeah, we'll be back. I think next week we'll do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I think we'll see how Wednesday goes, because I think, oh wait, the Zenless patch isn't Tuesday, it's the following Tuesday, right?
Uh,
I don't
not-
remember.
no, yeah, it'll be like the 24th.
Okay, never mind then. Well, it would be the following week. I'll mention that, so don't worry about it. We'll do Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week then, unless things change or anything comes up. But yeah, let's watch this and then call it for the night. I'll have to select it though. That's fine. Let's just watch it. And if it doesn't have one,
It was a ghastly tale of a winter's night. One of an invisible killer and a crime perpetrated on the pavement along Briar Road. As the victim lay at death's door, the mystery of just who had stabbed the young lady from behind had been resolved.
no. Oh, okay, wait.
No sooner had my friend saved that Eastern Exchange student from his harrowing plight than in the dim, flickering shadows of gaslight did a second bizarre crime rend the stillness of that very night. I dare say most can still recall the sensational headlines of the day. Haunted apartment of death, the condemned criminal's curse, the dread demon of coal gas. Yet, though the great detective had at once discerned the truth upon his arrival at the scene, it only proved to be the overture that announced the rising of the curtain on a most tragic play.
It's gonna be those motherfuckers, man.
It was fucking him. Oh my god, it's Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
That's scary. Alright, guys. See you next time.